It's a wonderful sight, isn't it? The way the water rushes down the rivers above in an ever-changing yet seemingly never-ending motion. Ever shining in the sunlight, ever glowing in the moonlight. The waters might always change, but the beauty always remains. It reminds me quite a bit of you. I hope that didn't sound too cheesy. I don't believe poetry was ever my strong suit. Anyway, I'm glad you came. Oh, I just realized. I never gave you my name when we met earlier, did I? Here I am teaching you how to properly treat a woman, and I've been so rude. My name's Arabelle. Yes. If you don't know the way, it really wouldn't be very easy to find this place. I suppose that's my fault. I should have given you directions here before we parted. My apologies. Regardless, you seem to have found your way here just fine. Yes. The waterfall is glowing. It's a fascinating sight, isn't it? The water in the river above comes down from a cavern full of bioluminescent organisms. You'd never see them in the sunlight, which is why I asked you to come here at midnight. Isn't it beautiful? Now, you remembered to bring something to swim in, didn't you? Oh, don't worry. I assure you it's perfectly safe to swim. Every so often, I come down here myself. The sound and sight of the waterfall helps clear the mind from the constant busyness of the city. Just don't open your mouth underwater. Because while the organisms might be harmless, they taste horrible. Like unskimmed milk that's been left out of the fridge for 2 weeks. Now then, with that said, let's get in now, shall we? Won't you join me? The water is nice and cool. Is there a problem? You're staring at me quite intently. What's wrong? Do you not know how to swim? Oh, I see. You didn't come wearing it beneath your clothes. Would you like me to turn around? All right. Just tell me when you're ready. Can I turn around now? Okay. Not bad. Oh. I wasn't talking about your swimwear. Now, come in, won't you? The water is nice, isn't it? So tell me, young one, if you were to ask someone out on a date, what do you say would be a good first date to bring them? A dinner date? Well, that's not a bad guess, but perhaps not for a first date. I would say the ideal first date would be something more easygoing. Like perhaps a picnic or a nice stroll in the park. Something to start and help define boundaries before the relationship becomes too serious. I'm glad you agree. Before you said you were very into gardening as a hobby. Tell me, what else are you into? Tabletop games? Sounds interesting. What kind of games specifically? I think I've heard of this game before. It's like a role-playing game, isn't it? Where you act out a character. I see. So you must have written some interesting characters before then. What's your latest one like? I see. So your character is forgive me if I'm wrong pronouncing this, fireball rogue that delves into ancient ruins for valuable treasures and owns a fence that sells these valuable treasures. And most of your clientele are dwarven traders. Interesting. But since the king recently brokered a peace treaty with the Lamia tribes living within the jungle, you've had a much harder time being able to go in to search for relics. Yes, that probably would be the case. They'd probably be very territorial directly after a war. So what kind of artifacts did you find previously? My, an entire Lamia statue made of pure gold? And that's how you got your shop started. Interesting. That certainly is quite a story. You made sure none of the items you brought back were cursed, right? Well, I certainly hope your game master didn't think about that either. Tell me, young one, is there any case you have a magic user that can detect curses in your party? Well, I would recommend having a talk with that character in your next session. When is your next session, anyway? On a Friday every night. On a Friday every week. You know, I've never really been interested in this game until now. Perhaps maybe there's fun to be had then. You would have helped teach me how to play, right? Great. Perhaps this will be a nice change. I normally spend a lot of my time gardening, as I told you last time. A druid? What's that? A class in D&D. Interesting. So, a druid is like a magic user that has more control over nature? Very interesting. I'm beginning to see why you're so intrigued by this game as a hobby. Is there a manual I can read over to understand this game better? It sounds like I should probably study up on this game a bit more before I try to play it. There is? So there's a handbook for this game. Well, I guess I'll have some reading to do later. I look forward to finding out more about this game, though. So tell me more about this Fireball Grog of yours. Is there any backstory to him? Oh my. That's quite a tale. So he traveled all the way from the Underdark to where he is now, after his home was destroyed by a cave-in? Goodness. I suppose that's part of the risks of living in a giant underground cavern. But it certainly explains how he became a rogue when he had to live on the streets for so long. I suppose picking artifacts is better than picking pockets. Huh. That's exactly how you described it, huh? Hey. Speaking of treasure, did you know that some of the plants around this waterfall are actually quite rare specimens? For instance, much of the ivy growing up the side of that cliff over there is actually a succulent known as String of Tears. And some of the ferns on the base of the waterfall are actually monsteras, a plant with large leaves that naturally grows holes in them. Yes, it is fascinating, isn't it? And those are just two of the ones I know of. I'm sure if you searched around hard enough, you might even find an undiscovered species of plant somewhere. Although, that's why I try not to tell anyone about this place. I'd rather they not disturb it. A question? What is it? Why are my eyes orange? I suppose it's quite noticeable. Well, to start, they aren't orange. They're actually amber. I was actually born this way. Apparently amber is a very rare eye color. Why do you ask? Oh, you think they're a beautiful color. Thank you, young one. I'm quite insecure about them, actually. I'm afraid people will think I look like a monster. Well, you're certainly learning how to properly treat a woman quickly. You must be a fast learner. Hey, come here for a moment, won't you? A little closer than that. Closer. Just do it for me, will you? I hope that didn't take you too off guard. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Well, yes. Don't be so flustered. Or do, and consider it revenge for calling my eyes beautiful. My, your face is getting all red now. Oh, don't hide your face under the water. I think it's cute. Oh, now you're just being a sourpuss. Come on. You'll drown if you stay under there all day. It's okay to be embarrassed around me, young one. We're both adults here and... and... Oh, I'm sorry, my love. Oh, no. Hold still. You have a lily pad on your head. You looked so silly. It'll teach you for trying to hide your face from me. Tell me, love, do you know why I brought you to this waterfall? The reason I brought you here is because of what I said earlier. A first date should always be slow and easygoing. It should always be fun to find and set boundaries for how to behave with whoever you're interested in. And now I know after giving you a kiss on the cheek that I probably shouldn't do that, at least not in public. No, I suppose we didn't directly call it a date. But it is what it is. But it is what it ended up being, isn't it? I may have brought you here to teach you how to properly treat a woman. But have you perhaps thought about why I was interested in doing that in the first place? I don't just bring everyone I meet here, you know. Young one, are you all right? You're shivering. And now that I look at you, you're looking a lot paler now. Oh dear. Bless you. That was quite a sneeze. Perhaps it's time we get out of the water. It's getting quite chilly. I'm so sorry, love. I completely lost track of time. We must have been in there for too long. Here. Don't worry. My home isn't too far from here. Put your clothes back on. I'll take you there. Oh, don't be so stubborn. It was my fault that you ended up like this. It's only right I help take care of you. Here, let me help you get dressed. All right. That should at least keep you from getting worse till we get back to my home. Of course I'm okay with it. I love having guests over. Once we get back, I'll have the fireplace going. And I'll even make us some hot chocolate to warm you right up. It's no problem at all, young one. Goodness, you're shivering a lot. Can you move well enough? Here, take my hand. I'll help walk you back. I can assure you it's a much shorter walk when you know where you're going. Goodness, your hands are cold too. Oh dear, I think you must have caught a serious cold. Love, don't worry. I know a chicken soup recipe that'll fix you right up. Oh, and did I ever tell you about my pet frog? Yeah, her name's Matilda. She's a Butchgut's frog. She's quite an adorable little chubby thing. She's also practically my morning alarm clock. Yeah, although she only ever works on Wednesdays for some reason. Anyway, let's hurry home and get you warmed up under a blanket. And we'll even share another nice peach pie fresh out of the oven. Doesn't that sound nice? Good. I'll make it all up to you. I promise.